Dun, dun, dun. Welcome to 2024. Let's do this live stream. Let's see how it goes. Let's see. Ignore the mess. That mess. Sorry. It's it's just anyway, just ignore it, okay? I have my tea. I'm ready for anybody who wants to chat with me. It's been a while since I posted. So if I have people on here, I will talk to y'all. If not, I will just tell you what my plans are this year and why I've been kind of like taking forever to post. So one of them, if you're here and you can hear me, please make a comment so that I could see if you could hear me clearly. One of them, so happy Merry Christmas, Happy Thanksgiving, Happy New Year. It's been a while since I've been here for some time. I have been procrastinating. You can hear me. Nice to see you. No, I can't hear. Thank you for commenting. Sherry, am I saying your name right? I wanted to come up here before I started posting my videos to kind of like give like a personal update, I guess. Not that you guys need to know my personal business, but I wanted to do an update of why I didn't do Vlogmas and why I didn't post at the end of December, and kind of like just share what's happened in my life. There's somebody else. Nice to meet you. Happy New Year. I'm sorry. I feel so bad for not posting Vlogmas last year. And and then I just looked, today's the 20th. I haven't been posting in January either. I've just been, what have I been doing? All right. So how are y'all? How was your holidays? How did it go? How did you spend it? I have a lot of family, so usually Christmas is really hard for me. So I was extremely busy, and I hope you could see me well. The lighting is not the best in here, but I'm trying to sit in a space where my dogs won't harass me, because I have two of them here, and I have like, you want everybody to see you? Yes. I have Cookie. No, up here. She's hanging with us. All right, so let's see. I wanted to wish you a happy New Year and a Merry Christmas, all of that stuff. I want you to know that one of the reasons I didn't post for Vlogmas is I had a dental procedure and it didn't go well. And I ended up, the dentist messed up. And I ended up having a lot of pain for a good week, and it took about 2 weeks to recover, and I almost ended up in the hospital because of my dentist. It was just a stupid mistake, but anyway, it took a while for me to recover, and then Christmas was on top of that, and then the New Year's and all of that stuff, and it was just like, anyway, but it's fine. It's fine. The good thing is I finished all my clients before I had that dental procedure, and so I got everybody taken care of, but I learned some hard lessons in that. And so I wanted to do a video on the things I learned in 2023, and one of them is that make yourself a priority. I don't know. I always talk about that. Make yourself a priority. So that's one of my goals this year is I'm putting myself first. One of the priorities that I had last year is to really work my business and to really work hard and take care of my clients, and I love you guys. But one of the reasons why I had a procedure on my teeth is because I just kept delaying it because I had so much work that I would delay going to the dentist, and I knew I needed to take care of, and I didn't take care of it, and it just all went to crap. But it's a good lesson, right? To put yourself first and put your health first. So that's one of my 2024 priorities, is to, like, I don't know. What is it? What is it with the moms here to take care of yourself? So that's one of them. Priority number 2 for 2024, it's I have, I don't know. I kind of like have not taken in a lot of work this year. I took one job, maybe two, and those are because I've had a client. I'm taking only jobs from my loyal clients at this current time because, what is my reason? I just want to make my own, quote my own stuff. I want to not have the business pressure that I'm always under. But I say that now. I said that last year, and I was very balanced last year. And then halfway through, I believe after May, I kind of fell off the wagon when it comes to the workaholic mode. I fell off of that wagon. And one of the reasons is I was going to a quilt shop, and I ended up in a mess at a quilt shop. I was helping the quilt shop. I was kind of working for free at the quilt shop, and I was putting a lot of money at this quilt shop, and I had like several women lose their mind verbally with me, and I think it did something to my brain that I walked away from the quilt shop. And the easiest thing to do when you're hurting is to start working and focus on work. So that's one of the things that I kind of did last year, and I fell off the balance your life kind of wagon. Like, I wanted to work for my clients and then work on the side for myself, like do my own projects. And I was doing that because the neat thing about this little quilt shop is I was able to go there, and I would pay for a day to go sew, and it just, gosh, I don't know, it didn't work out. But one of the things that I do when I'm kind of like sad or discouraged is I work a lot. And so from May on, that's all I did. So how are y'all? How's your 20 days of 2024 been? If I'm honest, mine were, it's just another year. I guess that's how I see it. It's just another year, another day in the neighborhood, and it's going to be a good year, though. So talk to me. How are y'all? Comment, please. I would love to know how you guys are doing. Please talk to me. I don't want to be the only chatterbug here. So, I guess, unless y'all comment, I'm going to keep on. Another thing I want to do in 2024, it's, I want to do more custom quilting videos. And I was wondering if y'all would be interested. I wanted to do challenges. I think I would like to do another block swap that I did last couple years, and do a block swap for this community for YouTube. And I would like to get one of those going again. But I also want to, I'm looking at my dog. I want to, what else? I'm thinking of doing Patreon, but I don't know if I should. But I want to do maybe custom quilting classes. I don't know yet, okay? But tell me what you guys are interested in. I kind of am, to be honest, I'm bored. I'm bored with my channel. I hope you guys are not bored, but I think I'm a little bit bored, and to re-edit a video of a work day that I already worked kind of is, why? Hi Ingrid, how are you? And so those are the kind of things I'm thinking about. So tell me what you guys want to see here. What are you interested in watching? What, you're doing great. I'm glad you're doing great. I'm working on your quilt still. Let's see. What do you guys want to do? Do you want to do a mystery quilt? on Lorena's Facebook group? Do you want to do a block swap like we've done before? You want more custom quilting videos? Well, I'm going to post your red quilt that I custom quilted on there. I thought I wanted to do maybe shorts on like stitching in the ditch, or how you plan on quilting a custom quilt, meaning like on Procreate, like how, like I think of the process of it and share some of those ideas, because I remember when I first started, custom quilting would like blow my mind, and I was so afraid to ruin a quilt that I kind of struggled to start. And one of the things I want to thank Ingrid Hunt for is that I did 4 of your quilts this year, right? Last year, 2023, I did 4 of your quilts. I did 4 of your quilts. So I kind of want to do kind of like more teaching tutorials like that. I was also thinking like, what else? Like design a quilt that we could do. What would it be? Like trapuntoed. For example, design a pattern that we could trapunto, and you could do it on your manual sewing machine, or you can also do it on a long arm quilting machine, and they would be these wall hanging panels that we could do. I just don't know, like, what do y'all want me to do? Like, in the sense of, because I could design a whole bunch of things, make rulers, make templates, make kind of like designs, create it, and then start doing a video on it. And then kind of like, if people are interested in it, I think I would probably do a special if you do like a group class, and then everybody can do it with me and follow along. Do a video on how you choose a design. Okay, I could do that. I can also do a video on how to pick threads, right? How you pick a thread for a certain quilt. What else? Hello, Darlene, how are you? So I guess I'm just kind of coming here to ask what you want from me, because I don't mind doing the business videos, the what I do in a day, but you know what I was thinking of doing? A 20-hour day, quilt day, and challenge myself and see how long it takes, how many quilts I can get done in 24 hours. Would that be a stupid video to do? Or a 24-hour sew day where I sit and I sew for 24 hours and share what quilts I got done. Would that be something that y'all would be even interested in doing? I'm working on quilts right now, and I seem pooped today. Okay, I'm reading. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay. Okay, you have a quilt right now, and the seams are popping open. There's not even enough seam allowances to sew it together. What do you do when that happens? Wow, okay. One of the things to not allow your seam allowances to open is iron to one side or the other. That would be 1. 2, I would shorten the stitches, make the stitches smaller, because sometimes if you sew the seam and you open the seam, the seams tend to pop open for me. So I iron to one side. Shorten your stitches if you can, and then also too, if you don't have enough seam allowance, that means the way you trimmed the fabric came short. And so, Sherry, what you can do, that's a custom quilt that I'm working on. Oh, you're at the... Oh my God. Okay, so it's already a quilt that you're working on, and when you're quilting on it, and you're probably stitching in the ditch. The seams are just popping open because whoever stitched them together didn't stitch them well. Okay, one, I would baste, tug the fabric, wet the fabric, tug the fabric, and stretch it a little bit so that you do have a seam allowance. That's one of the things I would do. Two, once you've created that seam allowance by stretching the fabric, that's a good thing, fabric does stretch. Once you stretch both sides that are short, wet them, stretch them, then give yourself the seam allowance and baste the stitch down. But before you baste the stitch down, fold it to where you have a seam, iron it, and then baste the stitch down. And then I hand stitch those open seams, which suck. So before you keep going on quilting it, I would start seam managing. And gosh, that's horrible. That happens. Oh, I'm sorry that you're dealing with that. But what I recommend is take the quilt off the long arm, since you probably already have it on there and you started working on it, and start stitch management before you continue, because if you work, the more you work on it, the more the stitches are going to break, and then you're going to have to do a lot more hand stitch work. That kind of sucks. I'm so sorry. But I would wet the fabric, stretch it, create it. You can always pull the seam a little bit and give yourself a seam allowance, even though the client didn't do that for you. Okay, I will do that. What I wanted to do, question, would you like to see a live stream of me quilting a quilt, like my custom quilt, like any quilt that I'm quilting, and you watch a live stream of me doing it? Would you want to see that? Would you be interested in that? And in the sense of, I have a lady who is working for me now. She's helping me. And we have the equipment. We just have to set it up. And I think I need to talk to a couple of people who do that here on YouTube. And what is one of the ladies? Memoirs of a Long-Arm Quilter. She's a real sweet lady. Maybe I could ask her how she does hers. But I have a friend who could film with me while I do that. And that's something I could do. That'd be fun. Because she could do, like, the questions that you guys ask. She could read them to me. And then I could answer them while I'm long arming. That could be something that we could do. I just need to figure that technical part of getting enough... because the camcorder has a long battery life, but get the equipment so that I can move the camcorder around so you guys could see different viewpoints of the custom quilting. Another question. You love the chats? I'll do more chats. If you like me doing live streams, I'll do one every week if you guys want. Yeah, Cherry, try to wet and stretch. Wet and stretch. And then if you can hand baste the seam before you quilt it, that will help you a lot. So on my, what else? Someone's here. Something to look forward to if you are quilting for someone else. Yes. Stitch length and seam allowance and backs on the back side. Yeah. Yeah. I have a client and I love her. She's the sweetest old lady ever. She, her seams are the worst. But now that I know her work, and that's kind of sad to say, you have to, once you know a client's work, you have to kind of like manage, like fix their stuff. And then you have these great clients that you just get the quilt on the long arm and the quilt is beautiful and you don't have to manage the quilt as much. But I think you learn the most from quilts that are the worst. I think you become a better long armor. And Cherry, just pray and it'll figure it out. Like, it'll come to you. If you start praying for the quilt and praying for the person, praying for you to be able to do it, all of a sudden the answers come to you and you figure out a solution on how to kind of like work on those seam allowances. And some clients charge for that extra effort and some clients don't. Or some long armers charge for that extra time and effort that you put into it, and some long armers don't. And if the quilt has too many seams, you can talk to the client. But let me tell you this. Clients tend to be, they don't like being told that their quilts are bad. They don't like it. They take it real personal, and you may, if you say anything like that, you may lose that client. So on the clients that their quilts are not the best, I tend to just take care of it because of, I want to keep the client. And some things I could just manage and fix. So that's something to think about. I know some long armers are such frustrated old people that they'll like call the client and complain to the client about their quilt, and the client feels bombarded. And I know the quilt can be frustrating, but you can fix it. You can fix it. And then when you fix it and it's beautiful, you did a great job. So just, there's a fine line there. I have a lady who would constantly call her clients and complain about something that wasn't right with the quilts, and now she doesn't have no clients coming to her no more. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. But I don't tell my clients anything other than when I'm done with it, unless I've made a mistake, unless I've done something stupid. And I've done that. I have a video that I'm going to post on where I used the wrong back fabric on the wrong quilt. I was like, oh God, that was just the stupidest thing I've ever done. And it's a worst call. Hey, by the way, and offer solutions. I offered her 3 solutions. Hold on one second, okay? Alex, the refrigerator's open. The refrigerator's open. All right, so let's see. So I called my client and I told her, yeah, by the way, I used the wrong back fabric on your quilt. And I gave her that quilt for free. And then I repurchased the back fabric. And I think I even gave her the free back fabric I gave her. And I gave her 2 options. I could unstitch it, but I wasn't going to finish it when she wanted it. Or I could repurchase the fabric and put the same fabric, if I could find it, on the back of the quilt. But clients make mistakes, and if you're gracious with your clients when they make mistakes and make you do more work, when you make a mistake, they'll be gracious and kind to you because they know that you've taken care of them, I guess. So let's see. Yes, watching Quilting by You videos. Okay. Do you guys want to watch embroidery work? Embroidery stuff on this channel. I'm thinking of making another channel where it's only embroidery content and just leaving. Stop. You want to come up here? You like harasser? Come on. Do you hear her? Stop. Here's Blue. You want to say hi? The little barker. You're fighting with your sister, huh? Do y'all want to see embroidery content here? Because before, I want to kind of change it up. If you guys give me the permission to just change it up, meaning I'll do work days, I'll do a work day video, I'll do 2 of them or 3 of them a week, but I also want to do maybe a piecing video, like making quilt tops, custom quilting. I want to kind of just give a little bit more variety to my channel because I feel a little bit bored. That's the word, bored. I just can't. I have 2 readers. You receive your mini seam rippers. Also, too, wait. If you haven't gotten a mini seam ripper from me, I sent them all out. Everybody who messaged me, who I got messages from. I ran through and made sure that I got everybody that I could find that messaged me. If you message me and haven't gotten the seam ripper by now, please message me again. I may have missed you. I think I sent out about 40 of them. I think I have maybe 5 more seam rippers. If I've missed you, I'm letting you know that I'm sorry. It's some people were messaging me on TikTok, some people were messaging me on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube, on letting us. It was just, anyway, I was looking everywhere and I think I got everybody. But if you did message me and you haven't received it, that's what could have happened. So let's see. Stop. What else do I want to do? Do you want to do classes together? Meaning, I was going to a quilt shop and I was doing these sweet little classes and it all went to hell, man. And I was so discouraged when that happened. But would you like doing like a block of the month together where I'll send out a pattern and we as a group create the block in the month, and maybe I'll do like a live where I put the block together and I do a little tutorial or something like that. Would that be something you guys would be interested? I really love this community. You guys have supported me for years and I kind of want to give back that way, but I don't know if you guys would be interested in that kind of content, because what I find is that people that are my regular ride or die watchers are people who watch me long arm quilting and they like the business aspect of long arm quilting. And so and when I do videos where I'm piecing a block or I'm doing a block swap and stuff, those videos don't tend to get a lot of watch time, or it seems like maybe you guys are not interested in that kind of content. So I don't want to create content that you're not invested or interested in, kind of. Does that make sense? So let me see who else is talking to me. I appreciate, Betty, that you just willing to watch anything. I have different readers. My favorite quilter. So happy to see you. Thank you, Kathy. I'm glad to see you too. Watching embroidery work because I am desperately trying to not start that. You don't want to watch embroidery. It's always looking so fun. So it's whatever you guys want. Really, this channel is our channel. And it's our channel and we could make it whatever we want. There's some mistakes that I've made on this channel. I posted some videos that have really done well, and they have nothing to do with long arm or quilting or anything. And so when I post quilting videos, the analytics doesn't send me off. But it doesn't matter. You guys have been with me for a while. But those are the things I'm kind of like debating. I want to this year, I'm bound and determined I want to do a custom quilt. And thank you, Ingrid. I love you so much because you have inspired me to like really, I want to do a custom quilt that's mine. And I want to put it in a show. And Ingrid, some of your quilts that we've done together, oh, you should put some of them in a show, especially the recent one that we did together, the red one. That's a lovely quilt. But I want to make some quilts and put them in shows. Whether I do well or not, that's a goal of mine. In 2024, if I don't get one in a show, I want to be working on one to put in a show. And so that's something that I want to work on. I wanted to know if you're interested in watching that process, how to design and get a quilt ready to custom quilt so that you could put one in a show. What are the things you need to think about? What are the things you need to plan? So let me read you guys' comments. Have you ever quilted a jean denim quilt? And how hard are they to quilt if they a jean quilt is very heavy, and the problem not with the jean itself, that's the problem. The problem is the seams when the jean on jean seam together. And if you do it on a regular sewing machine, the needle is not strong enough to not break. unless, and if you do that on a regular sewing machine, you need to change your needle to a jean. They have a jean needle, a needle for heavier weighted fabric. That's something to consider. I recommend that if you do a jean quilt, I know this lady who has done one. I can ask her because she did little squares of jeans. I think the only thing you need to concern yourself is with the seams. I think you should send it off to a long armor that has an industrial long arm quilting machine, because the industrial sewing machine does have a stronger needle, and the long arm has, like mine is an industrial machine, it is able to go over thick seams, but it is going to be harder for the long armor. Sometimes I have to be careful, especially now that I got the new motors, the Y motor and X motor on the long arm. I noticed it's a lot more finickier on heavy seams. I did Ingrid Hunt's quilt, and when I did her quilt, I had to be careful when there was a cross section of 3 seams, I believe. Like, I'm just sharing, like maybe a seam here, and a seam. Okay, wait. There was a seam here and a seam here, right? And there was another seam like intersecting. It was like a 3 seam intersection, it looked like. And when I was stitching in the ditch, the foot got stuck because the seam was a bit thicker. And that's just something you have to think about. So they can be quilted, but the seams are what you have problems with. All right. Have you ever quilted? Okay, I've answered Mary's question. She asked if it's hard to quilt on a denim quilt. No, it's just those seams, man. Okay, I hope I answered that. How hard are they to quilt if you do freehand quilting? The good thing about freehand quilting, okay, let me answer that quickly. If you're doing a jean quilt, the 2 seams are not a problem. If you're doing a 4 patch, it's the 4 patch, and then the 2 seams, it's that center area where all these 2 seams connect and that 2 seams. So you have 4 seams. That's going to be harder to quilt. But if you free motion, you can avoid those little corner areas and meander or quilt around them. But stitching in the ditch will be horrible. So I would take them to someone to quilt. And then they have to have a machine that can handle that kind of quilting. But I've quilted leather on my long arm. So you need to make sure it's like a Tin Lizzie. No, not a Tin Lizzie. Like a Gamel, like a Millennium kind of quilter. Someone that has an industrial machine that can handle that kind of thick denim weight. But they could be done. I've done it. I've quilted leather. It could happen. Okay, you have 2 of them. I would love to enter. You can listen to me talk. Thank you. Everybody says that. Some people say, I didn't know a voice could be a thing. You know what I mean? I didn't know a raspy voice could be a thing. I have an obnoxious laugh, though. Yeah, I love doing videos on fixing quilts. I think long arm quilters are a bit snooty. They're a bit like stuck up. And I understand why. It's expensive to have a long arm. And people waited a long time to finally have one. But I don't think, and I don't mean anything like against any content creator here, but I remember one content creator didn't say my name but was criticizing me. Like, I don't think it's appropriate for me to show my clients' quilts that aren't done right. I think it is appropriate for you to show people's mistakes and even to share your own mistakes. I think if you're humble and you're teachable, and I mean, it's not that deep, people. It's just fabric. And sometimes mistakes have nothing to do with the person who made it. It has to do with the person stretched the fabric by accident. It has to do with, like, they had it laying for a long period of time and they were stretching it by pulling it out and showing it everywhere. it has to do with a lot of factors where quilts warp and shift and aren't done well. Um, I just think they're teachable moments. There used to be no one. I don't stop. I don't think there's anybody. Come on, get up here. If you want to come up here, come up here. Stop being a turkey. I think there's times. I don't think there's still a channel that shows people's mistakes on quilting. I don't think there's a content creator that does that. I think everybody wants to show perfect work, and I don't think that's a true I don't think that's fair. Um, I think some of my quilts are horrible. As a matter of fact, some of them are really bad. You want to sit up here so everybody can see how cute you are? So let's see. Let me get my readers. Hi, are you beautiful? Being quilted and yeah, I'll do those still. You like my laugh? Thank you. There's no. Okay, so they're eating like hair clips. Okay, so those are kind of. I guess I'm kind of been lost lately. So kind of, please pray for me that I find my way again. I've been lost. I've been. I think I went into didn't. Okay, question for y'all. Didn't 2003 end quickly? And all of a sudden we're, bam, 2024. Like we're here. We're like, I just couldn't, for me it went so fast. I don't know if it went fast for y'all. But the end of the year, like I think Christmas and then New Year's, like it was so quick, like you came in. And so I think when the first day of the year came, I was like, what am I supposed to do this year? I guess I didn't have my resolutions or my what I want to do. And so the last couple weeks I have been training for a trip that I'm taking, and I've been kind of like what kind of channel do I want to make this year for everybody? What kind of like stuff do I want to share? Last year my whole plan to share was finish some of my own quilts. So I bought an elephant paper piecing, the wolf paper piecing. I think Clarissa, I believe that quilt that I did for you, that beautiful block of the month that you sent me for, I think, one of your family members' wedding. Anyway, I got that pattern. I got the fabric. I got everything. I was going to go for it and get it done, and nothing of that got done. And I think I well attended, but nothing that I wanted to get done for myself happened. Or that Queen of Diamonds, I think I finished 7 blocks, and I still need to finish another 7. I mean, it's like I'm still like, and am I motivated to even do any of it? No, not right now. But I do feel, Ingrid, that 2024 snuck up on me. And I remember last year at this time, I was in Florida in January of last year. And I was going to go back to Florida for my partnership. I'm so sorry. My partnership. And, okay, you have 30 quilt tops. Question. Some of you can't afford long arm quilting, right? I don't know. I know you watch my channel. But would you like me to do a raffle? Like, do a drawing or something for like, once a month, I'll give one of my subscribers or one of my viewers a free quilting, like out there. Like, would you guys want that? Me to offer that to, like, I've done it before in a different setting. Let's see. I love to do a block of the month. Okay, Kathy would love to do a block of the month. Do you care about how hard it is? Does it matter the block of the month? Easy, basic, or a little bit more complicated? Because I have a whole bunch of beautiful patterns we could do. I'm glad I'm here to help you. But yes, you can get your denim quilt quilted. It's just those seams, those the four connecting seams. If it's two seams, I think you can make it. I was just thinking about that, like offer, like, I don't know, once a month is to offer it. You're such a raffle would be fun. Maybe maybe 4 times a year. I could do that. I could do something like that. I just kind of like I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how motivated I am to work. I'm sorry. Ingrid Hunt. I have you're the only one I took a quilt in. A couple people have been calling me to do embroidery work, quilting work, and I'm like, not right now. I'm on a break. I'm taking some time off. I'm kind of like recovering from December. But yeah, I think now I'm a little bit more excited to, like, motivated. Also too, I'm going to Big Ben again. Would you like me to do a live out there? Like just a mini live of, would you like to see other aspects of my life? Or do you want me to just keep it quilting? Because the other day, like, I was working on Ingrid Hunt's quilt, and I said, I'm going roller skating today. And I sent her a video of me roller skating, because I'm that person. Would you want other aspects of my life? Or meaning, would you like me to do videos where I share other aspects of my life, but it has like a vlog content, like Vlogmas, like a vlog kind of, still kind of connected to quilting, long arming, but a little bit more personal aspects of who I am and what I do, not just Lorena working, and you guys get to watch her sometimes get annoyed by it. But like, does that make sense? Let's see. Maybe not every month though. Okay. It's just an idea. Yes, I go roller skating twice a week, and I love it. And I love the little kids that I teach when they're falling on their faces all the time. I would also do like maybe a community quilt where I'm very much about like blessing the community, helping the community. I do quilts for, I think her name is Rebecca. I send her children's quilts to Dallas, and maybe we could get together and as a community, I could offer like, hey, everybody make a small quilt top, just a small, I think we can make them 50 by 50, 55 by 50. And everybody who was interested in doing that, you make a small quilt top. And if you send me the quilt tops and I long arm them, and those quilt tops go to Dallas for children in the hospital, I will put your name on the raffle so you could win maybe a free quilting from me. Would that be something that would be interesting, where you guys have to kind of give a little bit and invest a little bit of your talent so that we could bless little kids who are in the hospital and just be a blessing? I don't get to meet the kids. I don't know anything about them, but this sweet friend of mine, she's a YouTube subscriber. She used to do this and on her manual machine quilt them, and I offered that I would quilt her quilt tops so that she could send them to the hospital. Or even the challenge would be, you make a little quilt top and then you just do straight lines and you finish the quilt top and you send it to me and it's completed, and we as a community box them in, and you see me send it to her, and then she donates the quilts to the hospital. Would you guys want to do anything like that? Can I help you? Can I help you? Come on. Do you hear her barking at me? Oh. Let's see. She's like very attached. So like right now, one of the neat things about it is I have a friend, her name is today I can't talk. Her name is Christine Bullard. She makes quilt tops for me. And the other day we went through a bin of my old quilt blocks that I've made in 2004, 2014, and she's turned them into little quilt tops. And when I'm not busy, I just shove them on the long arm and I quilt the little quilt tops and I give them back to her and she binds them. And because of her, we have sent, I think last year we sent, I think maybe 20 quilts back to Dallas on top of the quilts that my friend did. That was, I met on as a subscriber. I have Marshall's Dry Goods backing, and so I have 110. I literally have 40 yards of 108 Marshall's Dry Goods back fabric. Oh my God, Susan, I'm so sorry you fell down and hurt yourself. When you did that roller skating? Ugh. Yes, I would love to share the other sides of me. I have a lot of them. I'm a bit crazy. Ask Ingrid Hunt. Yeah, I think it would be neat for us to do something for the community. I don't know. Those are thoughts. And I just need to get together and plan it. We could plan it together. We could kind of figure that out together as a group. Okay. That's when I was 33, 34, and I fell decades ago. You would like me to have guests come on. Okay, I can do that. That would be fun. I can have I wanted to do interviews with like people who quilt, why do you quilt? Why do you quilt? Why did you start? I love hearing people's stories. I think people's stories kind of inspire us to wow, okay, this is how you got started and this is why you do it. And it just gives you a different angle and a different perspective to identify yourself in a different way. It gives you an opportunity to see someone different. Okay, I am located in Texas, sister Susan. I'm in Texas. I'm by San Antonio. I'm in between San Antonio and Austin. I'm in Shirts. Yes, I'm in Shirts, Texas. Well, me too. Well, anytime you want to meet with me, we can have coffee. Thank you for wanting. I'm willing to do lives if you guys want to watch them. They're a lot of fun for me. They're easy. I'm not sitting for 10 hours editing a video. You live in San Marcos? Why are you barking at me? The dog is giving me a hard time. Would you like more puppy content? These dogs are my love. I love these dogs. All my dogs. They're bringing me a lot of joy. Would you like... Okay, hold on. Let me see. I'm reading your block. Half square triangle block. Top stretching. Let me read your question. I have a top made from sewing 2 10 square together. Then slice the squares to make a half square triangle. My question is to you. You're asking me if you should start quilting from the center. Question number 1. Are you long arming or sewing it on a sewing machine? If you're sewing it on a sewing machine, I would recommend you quilt it from the center. But what I do recommend is if you're doing it on a sewing machine, that you pin the heck out of it. And also too, I recommend that you can base the quilt and lock the quilt down. Those 3 layers, the batting, the back fabric, and the top quilt, the top of the quilt. So baste it. You can literally spray your quilt, spray the back fabric. There's a basting spray that you can spray. Put if you're doing it on a regular machine, put the batting, and then get your quilt, flatten it, and then baste across, and kind of go back and forth with the basting stitch on your sewing machine, and it locks the quilt down so it doesn't shift on you anymore. That's what I recommend. If you're doing it on a long quilting machine, you can do that kind of basting technique on the long arm to where the quilt is locked in and it won't shift on you anymore. But if you're doing it on a regular sewing machine, you need to baste it down either with pins or with a basting stitch. And you don't have to quilt from the center if you've done that. I know everybody says quilt from the center and quilt out. You can quilt from the top and quilt down, because what they're doing is they want you to quilt out and then the fabric moves outward, and it gives you the ability that if there's any stretch you can move it. But that's when you're basting. You're doing the same thing when you're basting the quilt down. And I think working from the center is harder, I think, because it's a lot of back work on, and that's the start of your quilting. Am I answering you? I said I have those. Yeah, be careful with, man, quilters can be, I don't know if it's age, hormones, estrogen. I don't know what it is, man. We can be mean. I had a lady at I had a lady at a quilt shop that I just told her, I'm sorry, ma'am, this is a private class. She lost her mind and she went crazy. She says I attacked her. She said I lost it on her. And she told one of the employees there, the employee was schooling me like I'm an idiot. And I was like, I just told you it's a private class. And it's just, people can be horrible. And I think it's just women in general. I think it's hormones. I don't know. But you have to also have your people. Someone asked me why I was not doing another retreat. And I said, I have to find people that I want to hang out with like that. Like, you know what I mean? You have to be real special for me to want to spend that kind of time with you, because you could be wrong. You could not be okay. Let's see. Shirts is beautiful out here. It's one of the top 10 cities in the United States to live in, by the way, or it used to be. You have lots of bias when they're stretching. Yes. And another thing you can do is spray starch and steam the quilt, and use starch and iron. And steaming sometimes kind of like dissolves the starch a bit, but spray the quilt. It's on a long arm. Spray the quilt and steam it. But if you long arm it, lock it in on the top, then baste. And you can meander baste all the way around it. And this way, when you see all that shifting, you can iron and you can straighten it. Iron and water and starch. You can just iron and water will fix the stretch, but iron and starch is another solution. And then sometimes you can just re-iron after you've ironed. I know. And then there's another technique I have. It's called hover iron, where here's your fabric and you hover iron, meaning you're spraying the steam, and the iron is really hot, and you just hover over the fabric to where the steam makes that fabric just shrink in. And the reason I think it works the best is because fabric has a tendency to, cotton is cotton, right? Cotton stretches and it contracts like a pair of blue jeans. Remember, they fit you great last week, and then you went and washed them and put them in the dryer, and now they're tighter. It's not that you got fatter, it's just that cotton fiber has contracted with the water and the steam of the heat of the dryer. So that is what will manage that stretching. So if you have a bad quilt, do that and baste it while you're doing it and lock that quilt in. And then when you start quilting it, it shouldn't be shifting. And you do not have to custom quilt if you're quilting custom from the center out. I think that's dumb. That technique is used for a regular sewing machine. It's not used for long arm quilting. Yeah. And I don't even think you have to do quilting from the center out on a regular sewing machine. I think that's just, I don't know if Leah Day or someone who does a lot of quilting says this is how it works because that's how she was taught. But the truth is, once the quilt is basted down, you should quilt from anywhere. You should be able to quilt from anywhere. That's my opinion. And I have quilted on a regular sewing machine, and I have basted a quilt down, and I have quilted from the center, and I have quilted from the top and worked my way down. So it all kind of works itself out. So it's just trying whatever technique works for you, because what works for me may be different for you. And just try it. Steam, man, steam. I'm a long armor. Yes, steam. Have, what is it? Have whatever steam iron that you have that gets really hot, and also to have a water sprayer, and you can make your own alcoholic. A friend did, I think it's a whiskey spray. I don't know what she did, but you can make your own stuff. But I also think that Lysol sprayer, that starcher that where your grandma used to use, I think if nothing else works, spray that lightly with water, then starch. It would really contract that fiber and stiffen it so it doesn't shift on you. Parker. Okay, the problem I have with basting the quilt first is that I get puckers when I start quilting. I use a sewing machine, so I don't have a long arm. Okay, so what I recommend is before you start basting, you may need to lift your walking foot, or you need to lift that foot, that quilting foot up higher, because the puckering is created when it drags that foot through. And pin, the rule of thumb is your hand, pin around your hand, pin more. And when you're getting the sandwich together, spray that starch, spray that water, and iron it and stiffen up that fabric and lock that. And you can spray base the batting to the top and spray base the batting to the back fabric, and then really lock it and iron it down, and then pin closer together. And what you can do, to be honest, if you're puckering, stop, take it off, unstitch that area, spray that area again, and then lock that stitches down to where you ground it. And you can unstitch as much as you want, and then go back and resew, and you can unstitch and then restarch and iron, because I know when you're doing it on sewing machine, you're moving that fabric around, that it loses its stiffness, and it starts to stretch again, and you can restarch it. I have to restarch some quilts too when they're starting to pucker, because puckering happens even with long arm quilting. So it's not necessarily like it's because you're sewing on a regular sewing machine. And use the right foot, use that walking foot. It helps with puckering. For example, I had a quilt from Ingrid Hunt that I had taken off the long arm, and she wanted extra quilting because it was kind of like empty in certain areas. And so I was using the regular foot on the sewing machine, and the fabric was puckering. So I had to unstitch it, and then I would iron it, and then I went and put the walking foot. And on my machine, there's a height level on the walking foot where you can kind of raise it up a little bit so it's not dragging that fabric and making it pucker. And so it could be the walking foot you're using. Some machines, sewing machines, have like height adjustments for how the foot hits the fabric. And also what else can I share with you? If it's puckering, baste it and then go back and quilt it. Those are like Ingrid Hunt's, it was puckering on one corner. And what I did is I took it off, unstitched it, and ironed it, and restarched it and flattened it out. And then what I did in the area was puckering, I basted it and then went back and quilted it with a different foot. So to try different techniques, like don't be afraid to try anything. You would love to have a retreat with me? That would be fun. I've done one before. Yes, you don't have to start. And I recommend too, on Ingrid Hunt's quilt, when I was quilting, I have a custom quilt. I have a couple of videos that I've done for her. If you notice, I never start from the center. I always start from the top down. But I've already basted the quilt and locked that sucker in completely. So yeah, no, don't quilt from the center. So let's see. Do you always float your quilts? Yes. I found that when I would not float my quilts, when you put a leader on the bottom of a quilt top, if the quilt top is warped or if the quilt top is stretchy, when you're rolling that quilt, you unintentionally are stretching and warping the quilt and putting pressure on the fabric. And if it's a quilt that has a lot of bias, you'll end up having like a letter N where two long areas and the center is shorter. And sometimes when you're rolling the quilt top, you can tear open seams, and that's why I always float the quilt. I even have a video from years back why I do not. I think the YouTube video is long arming Gamel's way, like do quilting the way Gamel told me how to quilt. And you could literally see that client's quilt that it was already warped initially, but then when I did pull it, I stretched it, and so it became more warped. And then it was such a hassle to try to straighten that sucker out. And sometimes people don't know how to put seams right, and their seams are wavy and their seams are warped. And you stretching the quilt by putting a leader on it and then rolling it taut, what can the word be? You are making that situation worse than it already is. And so no, I never put leaders on quilt tops anymore. I always float my quilts. I don't know. I won't even play with it because fabric is so stretchy. No matter, even if they put the quilt border on right, fabric naturally stretches. So you're trying to alleviate that problem. Let me see who else is texting me or messaging me. I hope I answered your question, Amy. Wavy borders can be a challenge. Yes, ma'am. But they can be fixed, and you just have to find the spot where. And usually, if you have a wavy quilt, you can catch wavy quilts before you roll the quilt, before you get to that point where it's problematic, and you can start working the fabric up. One of the things that you need to look at when you look at the border, here's the border, it should be straight, right? Straight. It starts to sag. You'll see parts of the quilt sagging. Like it's just a weird sag. Sometimes I show videos where I show you the sagging, where I'm trying to show my hands, where you see just it's straight and then it sags a bit. And the more you go, it's a bigger sag. If you see a little bit of sag, you could pull that fabric up and make sure it's a nice straight line. And you can work it. So you're literally getting rid of the waviness. But sometimes I'm in a hurry and I'm not paying attention. And then by the time I get to the bad row, because I didn't look at that edge and that slow sag, they're really warped to where it's like a half inch to a full inch that I have to deal with. And getting rid of that fullness and getting rid of the warpness, the waviness, however the border was put on. And sometimes a lot of us, when we're sewing, we stretch the fabric when we're putting on the border, and then you have a border that's feathering. And anyway, yeah, they're a lot of fun. Wavy borders can be. Yes, ma'am. Starch and steam. I promise you, starch and seam. If it's a half inch bigger, starch and seam. If it's an inch to a 2-inch seam, too much, maybe an inch, you could still get away with starch and seam. And what you can do is make little tiny pleats. And then when you're quilting, you can go ahead and move the fabric inside the quilting area. And I've done that before. Or if you don't want to deal with that, you could pleat it, create a seam, and then space stitch, and then hand stitch that seam down. Hi, how are you? How you doing? I hope I'm helping you guys. But yes, they're worth the work though. I think don't be afraid of having problems. They make you better long armors. Don't be afraid to have problems everywhere. They make you better. I'm glad you're doing good. They make you better. I think we're afraid to deal with problems, but honestly, if you really look back at the problems that you've had to deal with, they made you better in whatever field that you're in. They make you better. The one thing that I've noticed on, content creators, they don't want to share those things, which they want to give a fraudulent scenario of how life is perfect and life is good, and then all of a sudden you see that they're going through a divorce, they're having financial problems, everything's a mess. And the truth is, it's not true. I think you guys see my life and you think it's like, you know what I mean, but I've been dealing with I don't want to, a slump lately, and I don't want to work, and I don't want to do anything, and I'm trying to find my way this 2024, and sometimes that's okay. I was telling my friend the other day, I was like, God, I feel like something's wrong with me. Like, I just can't get motivated. And she says, Lorena, you need to cut yourself some slack. You worked your butt off 2023. You didn't take a break. You were on run from May all the way through. You were crazy. And it's okay to be in a slump. And sometimes you need to be there. And so I just want you to just honor the problems. They're a blessing, but they kind of suck a lot. Just sharing. They're just sharing. And just because there's this lady, where is she named? I don't remember her name. She does the most beautiful quilts. And she has the most basic long arm. And so you don't have to have the best equipment. You really don't. There's a girl who has the simplest laser, and she does the most beautiful things. And so it's not sometimes, well, if I had that equipment, maybe I could do that. Well, you start somewhere. That's how I started, on a regular XL 6000 sewing machine. And my first one was the Kenmore Singer sewing machine. It's where you start, right? It doesn't matter. As long as you keep going, you grow. Let's see. So what else would you guys like me to do this year? Do you like Vlogmas? Do you like vlogs? What else? I don't know. I'm just kind of figuring out. I want to brainstorm. Maybe we could do a block swap, a mystery quilt swap. We could do, I don't know. We could do something. You love the cedar. Let me see. I love cedar points. What are cedar points? Can I ask? Hi, Sylvia. How are you? I'm going back and looking at everything. Hi, Jonathan Jars. I think I've answered some of your questions, but I'm just saying hi. Hi, Betty. Just saying hi to everybody. I love Cedar Point's, the roller coaster place. I love that. Come on, you little terrorist. She's the worst. Let me show you my little terrorist. Say hi. Say hi, little troublemaker. Say hi. I love her, though. She's so much fun. She looks at me like, what happened, Mom? Am I in trouble? No. No, you little terrorist. So, okay, let's see. Do you want my videos longer or do you want them shorter? Do you want to watch shorts? You want me to do shorts for y'all? Because now they say I could do shorts. Like little video content. I do have a TikTok channel. It's Lorena's Quilting. Same. With no apostrophe S. I do some shorts there. I think I was thinking of doing lives there, but I don't know. So what would you guys like me to do? Any more questions? Let me see. What time? How long have we been here? Let's see. We've been here an hour. Can you believe it? Someone messages left. What is Cedar Point's, Mom? The roller coaster? So anyway, let's see. So those are kind of my ideas for 2023, 24. I'm still there. We'll see what happens, okay? I hope you guys are patient with me because I'm trying to plan some things out. Do have an Etsy now. I did make an Etsy an Etsy store. I did get that started. I need to kind of put inventory on there, products on there, rulers. I wanted to make custom rulers. I think some people messaged me on Messenger and asked me to do rulers for them, and it's my life is just. I have a friend who's going to start working for me, and she is like, Lorena, I can manage that stuff and get you kind of more organized there, because I'm dropping the ball a lot everywhere because I'm juggling everybody and everything. But I think that's a mother, that's a woman, that's a human, that's a worker, that's everybody. We all have things. But I just kind of wanted to come up here and just say hello. I am going to post a couple videos after this of different content. I am going on a couple trips. And so if you guys are interested, I'll do little shorts or videos of those and share. I'm going to a national park, and I wanted to go sew out there. That would be so much fun to sew out there and sew a couple blocks out there in this beautiful environment. And maybe I'll do that. Set up a table out there, hopefully if the weather's nice. But those are kind of like things I'm thinking about. And if you want, please make comments. If you have an idea and you want to share it, I'm here to listen. I'm here to do content for all of us. I'm the one making it, but I want to just do stuff that you guys want to watch. I don't want to do stuff that you're not interested in, but I'm also going to do stuff that I want to do too. I hope that's okay. And so I wanted to thank you for coming here and wishing me a wonderful, and I wanted to wish you guys a happy New Year, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. And I'm sorry I haven't been posting. It just got a little hard at the end of 2023. So I love you guys a lot, and please comment if you have an idea of what you would like to see. And me and my friend will start organizing everything, and maybe we'll do a block of the month. And I will organize, if you're interested in donating a quilt for the children who have cancer. And maybe that's going to be something that me and my friend are going to organize. So if you send me a small finished quilt block, quilt top, if you can't afford to have it quilted, send it to me and I'll quilt it, and we could just do something like that. I really do appreciate your time. What is the name? Oh, I don't know. It's Lorena. I think it's made by Lorena Cadena. Made by Lorena. Made by Cadena. Made by, I don't know. I will post it. I'm going to make a video and I will post that information, because I have 2 patterns on there. I think what I'm going to do on the Etsy shop, I may post the patterns that I create on there. But I do have 2 patterns that I have posted up there from block swaps that I've done before, I believe, that are on there currently, because I was testing it out, seeing how it worked. But I think it's made by Lorena Cadena or made by Cadena, something like that. But I'll do a video. It's coming sometime this week of mistakes and successes of 2023. I think it's good to look back on the stupidity of the year and the success of the year and the failures of the year before, so you could do better the next coming year. But yeah, we're going to be doing something. I really do appreciate your time. I really love you for being part of this channel, and I thank you for those who've been with me for so long. just know that I appreciate it, and I really do thank you. And the only reason I'm doing YouTube still is because of you guys who are with me, who message me like, hey, where you've been? We miss you. What's going on? I hope you're okay. I do videos for all of y'all that that care and watch. So I do thank you, and I'll see you later. Maybe next time the lighting will be better, and my lives will be better. We'll try to do a live on Long Army. All right. Have a wonderful day. Have a great new year, start of this year, and I hope you're really blessed. All right. Bye bye. End stream.